Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something incredibly fascinating. It's actually pretty rare that we dedicate an entire explainer to just one single sentence of source material. But trust me, the text we're unpacking today, it's so densely packed with meaning, it literally acts as a complete metaphysical blueprint.
So before we even look at the text itself, let's ask a foundational question. What exactly is the language of a miracle? If the extraordinary, the divine, aren't just, random acts of chance, but actual phenomena with a specific architecture, how do we tune in? Well, that is exactly the mystery we're decoding today.
To keep us from getting lost in the weeds, here's our roadmap. We'll start with the divine language, move on to decoding God's harmony, then explore the energy circuit metaphor, look at reaching the highest state, and wrap up with preparing for miracles. Let's jump right in. All right, here it is. This is our exclusive focus for this explainer. The language of God's harmony, the highest energy circuit for receiving miracles. Now just look at that structure. It's beautifully separated by a semicolon, perfectly balancing this abstract spiritual concept on the left side with a very mechanical, energetic concept on the right. We're going to dissect exactly how these two halves create one unified theory.
So starting off with section 1, the divine language.
Right away, the source material forces us to completely throw out our traditional understanding of communication. We're not talking about English or Spanish here. This language is fundamentally repositioned as a pure energetic transmission. Think of it less like a spoken conversation you'd have over coffee, and more like a spiritual Wi-Fi signal. The divine is constantly broadcasting, but we might just be searching for the wrong kind of network.
Which brings us to section 2, decoding God's harmony. Okay, so understanding this divine language absolutely requires a state of harmony. In musical terms, harmony happens when notes blend perfectly without any clashing or dissonance, right? Applied here, it means you've got to be internally balanced to even comprehend the message. It makes total sense when you think about it. You simply cannot tune in to God's harmony if your own internal radio is just blasting static and chaos all day long.
Moving right along to section 3, the energy circuit metaphor. Now, this is where the text takes a really fascinating turn. It marries this deeply organic spiritual concept with the highly technical language of physics. Think about the wiring in your house, a standard electrical circuit. It needs a closed, unbroken path to turn on a light bulb. If there's too much resistance, the power just stops dead. The text suggests that the miraculous circuit works the exact same way. If you have resistance, like internal disharmony, stress, or doubt, the circuit breaks, and the divine connection just can't power the outcome. When we start viewing this as a unified mechanism, it becomes crystal clear how these components rely on each other. They're basically 3 equal pieces of a whole pie. You have the language, which is the divine signal. You have God's harmony, representing the exact frequency you need to tune into. And then you have the circuit, the completed pathway itself. Without all 3 locked in place, the whole system just sits there, completely inactive. Let's push into section 4, reaching the highest state. As we deconstruct this even further, we really need to pause on one specific elevating adjective the author deliberately placed right in the middle of the text. This isn't just any baseline connection we're talking about. The text specifies the highest energy. It's insisting on an absolute peak state of spiritual capacity. We're not talking about a low-voltage trickle here. This requires a maximum energetic surge. Conceptually, this implies an immense vertical leap. At a low energy state, we're basically disconnected and noisy. At a baseline energy, sure, we might have some standard receptivity. We're getting through the day, functioning, but we're definitely not transcending. Accessing this specific miraculous circuit demands an intentional, massive elevation of our internal state. We literally have to rise up to meet the divine signal where it already resides. And finally, let's look at section 5, preparing for miracles. Even though our source text is incredibly brief, just that one sentence, it inherently outlines this brilliant step-by-step upward journey. Step 1, you recognize the nonverbal language. Step 2, you elevate your energy to tap into that unbroken circuit. And only then, in step 3, do you reach the destination. This is huge because it takes a passive hope for a miracle and turns it into a highly actionable spiritual process. I want to look really closely at that final action, receiving miracles. Notice what the author doesn't say. They don't say you're creating them, demanding them, or just randomly stumbling upon them. The action is actually passive, yet highly prepared. You are simply receiving. In this framework, miracles aren't just these random lucky lottery tickets of the universe. No, They are the logical, predictable result of an unbroken, harmonious connection.
So, stepping back, what we really have here is a complete architectural blueprint for spiritual alignment, all hidden in a single sentence. It's a real game changer because it shifts the power directly into your hands by asking you to tune your own frequency. As we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this one final, provocative thought to chew on today. Are your energetic circuits perfectly aligned to receive the ultimate signal? Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredible text.